Here I'm in front of my kitchen. Hi, I'm Miltonchang of Bonsai Heirloom. A few weeks ago, I was thinking about doing a gourmet bonsai for gourmet. I have this rosemary bush plant that I bought from a friend. He dug it out in the ground and put it in a 5-gallon can, and I put it in this pot and been playing with it for about 6-9 months. You can find a lot of rosemary plants in gardens that are turned quite woody. You can see this is a very woody, and they make very nice looking trunks, and they can be turned into a nice bonsai, and you can clip the green leaves for cooking. So I think that's an added nice feature for bonsai, bonsai for gourmet, and you may find other material that may be suitable, like sage and all that, that may have interesting trunk that can be used. There's a very big problem in digging up rosemary trees because they tend to be deep-rooted. The top surface roots, there's not very much for some reason. I think it's more like a drought-resistant plant. So when you dig it up, you'll find very little fibrous roots. And even though you have a long taproot, the tree is not likely to survive. So if you are thinking about digging up a rosemary in your garden to make a bonsai, be sure to dig around over time in a year, let's say, and let the fibers grow out in the top by putting good compost, soft material that absorbs water to encourage the root growth before you dig it. Then I did a Christmas tree video last week, and I found a dwarf Alberta spruce to make it into a bonsai. So anyway, I went to Home Depot to do some shopping and came across this rosemary Christmas tree. Well, they're not traditional Christmas tree, really, of course, but they are very different from the Alberta spruce. In fact, this is actually 3 or 4 or 5 trees grown on the side so that it can be pruned to form this pyramidal shape. So later on, I will turn this into a mini Christmas tree for your Christmas season. And then a few weeks later, I guess 5 weeks later, after the Christmas season, I'll tear it apart and make it into several bonsai for gourmet. So that's what this video will be all about. I'm doing this just for the fun of holidays, of course. A Christmas tree is one, and then turn it into bonsai later for gourmet. And the idea about gourmet is that we often use a lot of rosemary during the cooking season, during the holidays. And you can easily make a small bonsai and put it, I would say, in a kitchen window, even inside or outside, that it gets a lot of light. And recently, I've been getting quite a few emails about keeping it under a grow light. Nowadays, there are a lot of research done on spectrum of the lighting for growing vegetable indoor. So there are a lot of good growing lights that are LED-based, that are very electricity efficient to turn into light. If you keep it intensely over the rosemary plant, you can have continuous cutting this off to make your for your cooking, and then it will still be a beautiful bonsai. In fact, if you cut it often, you have a very nice bonsai all the time. So with that in mind, then let me take it out of the pot. The tools I'll use is really very simple. Just in case to cut some hardwood, I have a little saw, or cut the roots around it. And then, of course, to scrape the bottom to expose the top of the trunk, and then also a clipper. The wood is actually very hard, can be made into a nice gin. And as a first order business, I always comb out the bottom to expose the root, because that's the base that I don't have much way to change that, but rather want to make the most of it by deciding which is the front to make the tree look most advantageous. So this is what I'll do. But you can see I did this about 6-9 months ago. You see, there's a tremendous number of fibrous roots that are curling around the bottom, and that's basically eventually make a root bound. But in the meantime, this is fine. And you can see I use quite porous material because in the beginning there's not much roots. I wanted to give it a lot of water if possible. Now there's so much fibrous roots, I don't think I can even kill the tree by putting it in a small bonsai pot. But that's the thing, don't cut off too much roots to fit the pot. Rather go into a bigger pot first, let the fibrous roots grow before you put it into a bonsai pot. Because you may be cutting off too much roots and the tree may not survive. I actually tied this to the bottom so that it would stay put at the angle that I like. So this is the tree. Now, I hate to cut off any roots because I need everything to feed the tree. But on the other hand, this one, there's really not much fibrous roots and there's not much fibrous roots. And I can sacrifice that if I like. So now, if I put it into this approximately the right size pot, you can see this can be made into a nice bonsai with a little bit of tilting to give it an interest feature, and then makes a nice complement to the chef right outside of the window to keep it alive. Since all these roots can fit in the pot, I'm not going to cut it off. And this is a nice feature. This one, you can see it's like a juniper. There's no growth here, so all of this is dead. But that makes a nice shari or nice gin to make the tree look interesting. So this is roughly the design of the tree. And I can see I'll probably make that the apex, that's the tallest point. Or maybe even this, yeah, okay, either this or this the apex, although this is a floppy. So I will keep both options for later on. And then this can be pulled down further to accentuate the cascading effect. I think I have this pretty interesting, very natural. I didn't bend it at all. I just did some cuttings, bonsai to put into the pot. And the first thing I do is, as I said, I comb out the roots to optimize the use of the shari or the roots exposed. And then what I do is I put a mosquito net lining at the bottom of the pot to do the root pruning. That's what the nursery tray does, to encourage the growth of fibrous roots. Because when the taproot or the strong roots trying to cut through the mosquito netting, they get crunched and breaking up into the top above that into fibrous roots. So I do that always to all my bonsai plants, and I often don't have to repot them for like 5 to 10 years. And then when I do repot it, I just cut it back with a saw or a knife and cut off all around to get rid of the lumps and then put it back. And it's just really a 10-minute repotting job. Well, that's something not I was taught in a conventional bonsai classes when I started bonsai. But because of my workload, I don't have time for detailed works that I figure out ways to shortcut. And that is one of the shortcuts that I figured out and that worked out really well for me. So I want to share with you the so-called root pruning, okay? So now I put this tree back in, and you can see I exposed the roots, and I try to save as much of the fiber roots as possible. But this is a very nice shari or whatever, the dead wood, in a sense of, you can see this is like juniper. The roots feed the trunk and goes all the way to the leaves. But when there's no more leaves, this whole row dies. And so this becomes a very nice jing or shari here. With that in mind then, I'll purposely expose this a little bit to give it a little bit more feature. And I want to till this a little bit to accentuate the droop. And then I put the soil back. That's it. So as you can see, it's really easy. This is not the best potting soil that I use. It's very porous. But given it's at a kitchen that I'll be able to water it quite frequently, it should be fine. Basically, It has a little bit more perlite than I normally do with my bonsai mix, but that's fine. And I think I want to stake up this a little bit to accentuate this droop. I'm not sure this is the perfect design. I think I probably should make it come up a little bit more like this. So I need more soil to put it underneath, but that's okay. I'll fine tune it later. So this is the design. Not too bad. Now I will come to the front and do a little pruning to give it a final shape. The design is that I have two choices. Make this the apex and make this the apex. I think this is going to be a little tenuous because it's already kind of broken. It will stay alive, but may not grow very vigorously, and there's also not much branching below. So I actually just cut it and make this the apex. And you can see the rosemary has a very growing characteristic, very long stem. So I need to cut it right here. Hopefully this will grow up to become the apex, and then these will come down to accentuate the cascade aspect of this tree. And so this is the apex, and I think to rhyme it, I'll make this the apex. So there's a double trunk with two apexes, apex I guess, and go from there. If you know exactly what's the right word for two apex, please let me know. I need feedback from you to improve what I say. That is my tree, and it will come back fairly quickly. I didn't prune off too much this time. And you will have a cascade here, an apex here, an apex there, and an apex there. So there will be three kind of a sub-apexes that will make it look very interesting. So that's the tree. Not a big deal, but I think it's very functional, very pleasant, and easy to maintain. And what I would do to finish this up is I'll fill this a little bit more soil, and then I would put some powder moss. And given that now it's a raining season, it will be totally green like a lawn, and I think that would be beautiful. So let me say a few words about rosemary in general. First of all, there are two kinds of rosemary. This is more the pastrana kind, and this is more the upright. The upright can be quite tall, and you can get a trunk this size, really beautiful trunk with a little bit of contortion. And then this one, the trunk does not tend to get thick, and because it kind of spread out. Both of them have the terrible characteristic. There's not much fibrous roots near the main trunk. So if you want to dig them, you need to do it in stages, forcing the roots to root out before you dig them. With that in mind, then I'll do the second one on the Christmas tree, and then hopefully after Christmas you'll do the same, because this tree looks like a Christmas tree, but unlike the one we did last week, which is a dwarf Alberta Bruce, which is a single trunk and grow out to be pyramidal. This one actually the grower put several plants around it so that there's plenty greens to espalier or to prune to make it into a conical shape. So let me proceed to make that into a bonsai. Bonsai Christmas tree, that is. So I obviously don't want, I want a tree to be about this tall. So I need to prune it back to a conical shape about like this. So I need to keep that in mind when I cut it. So this is not the traditional bonsai with a 1 liter kind of the apex, but rather just look like a Christmas tree, a conical Christmas tree is my goal. So it's not really a Christmas bonsai really, but just for the fun of it. That you can make it for your children's room and then use it for cooking later on. I really need a pruner to sort of to make it, to guide me a little bit easier so I don't make a mistake. But I just use my bonsai clipper to do that. So it will not be very uniform, but we don't have to worry about that specific because it's quite temporary. This is really no big deal. It's nothing unlike pruning, poodling your tree in a garden to shape. In this case, I'm trying to make it into a pyramid to resemble that of a Christmas tree. I don't know if that's small enough to be the Christmas tree for your situation, but let's just call it it's small enough, okay? I basically reduce it to size. So if I take it out of the pot, you can see I'm not going to worry too much about cleaning up the roots because I'm trying to fake it as a one single trunk, which it is not. It's actually got, I would say, at least 4 plants in here to make into bonsai later. So now, this is roughly my conical tree, and I can continue to clip it to make it more perfectly conical. But it's not really that essential. It's just a game. Okay, and it will grow back in the next couple of weeks also to give you more clipping opportunity. Now I will put in a bonsai pot. I think this is approximately to scale, right? Now, again, I was being criticized for being too brutal by cutting off too much top and cutting off too much roots. But what alternative do I have? Because in order to fit in the pot, I really shouldn't have that much more soil at the top level. So that's what I'll do. I'll cut it off to that level. And I don't know how much that is. I can just use this saw to cut it. And if it's too much, in a sense, too hard to cut, too much hardwood, then I will probably go to my reciprocal saw again. So this is fine, mostly fibrous roots, which means I will not kill the tree, and it's easy to cut with a saw, regular saw. So if I put it in, I've got my Christmas tree bonsai, right? In this case, I'll line the pot with the mosquito screen, the fiberglass mosquito screen. It's very easy to cut with a good scissor, or you can use a cutter afterwards after you repot it with any protrusion, cut off any protrusion. So this is the root pruning lining. And I put a little soil underneath of it. This is just the ordinary garden soil that I use for planting my regular tree, but that's good enough for now, since I expect to redo this one in a few months. Look at the worm is wiggling, it's fine. The soil mix is just a garden soil, topsoil, with a bit of a redwood compost, and nothing more. So it's a really, a lot of people ask me about where do I get sandy loam. I think most topsoil will serve the purpose of sandy loam. They tend to be that by the time after you cultivate it for a long time. In fact, I will keep this tree in this pot till after Christmas to show you how I redo to break up this tree into multiple bonsai for the gourmet. You can give it to your friend as a gift, your friend that likes cooking, and they will treasure your bonsai skill. So actually, I really want to emphasize bonsai is a really wonderful personalized gift, especially if you made it or you bought it, picked it specifically for a friend's particular situation. I one time gave a bonsai to a friend whose wife was very slim, tall, and they have 2 children. So I gave him a tree that's tall and slim with 2 side branches, and he really treasured it for a very long time because I gave it to him as a memorial for his wife's passing. One thought is that for holiday, consider a bonsai as a gift. There are many bonsai suppliers now you can buy bonsai from. I can't guarantee for their quality, but they should be okay. And that could be a start of your bonsai gifting ritual. And then when I'm in business, I sure hope you will buy from us, because we will have very high quality bonsai. So this is the finished work, Christmas bonsai. One of the audience wrote me to say that last week that was the saddest Charlie Brown bonsai. I agree, but what can I do? That's the nature of bonsai. But I think it's fine. I'm sure you're joking about this. So okay, this is done. So we did 2 rosemary bonsai today. Here I'm in front of my kitchen stove to show you how I can use this bonsai to get the herbs, in this case rosemary, for my cooking, Italian pasta or something. So it's a very versatile bonsai to have a little bit of fun, to give it to your friend and all that, a perfect Christmas gift. And after I'm done with it, what I can do is put it in front of a window. And this is actually very tight, but you get the idea of putting in the windowsill so that you can get some sunlight to keep the tree alive, or keep it right outside the window so that you can get it from the kitchen with a little bit of going out a little bit to get the rosemary. I think that will work very well, so let me show you this. Okay, I just left my recently done rosemary bonsai here. You can see it's really quite nice, and that's outside of my kitchen window. And this is what I have. I bought a tray of succulents from Costco, and look at how much they've grown. And I have many divisions from that. But what's really interesting is this is the cactus flower. They call it Christmas cactus flower. And I just put the 6-inch pot plant in here. I didn't pay any attention to it. And look at that, it's gonna be full of blossom in a couple of weeks, and probably will last a couple of months. So Christmas cactus is a wonderful plant to just, toss it around and it will grow. And look at this piece of succulent fall off. Again, the conventional wisdom is you don't need to water your succulent plants. And that is totally untrue. I water a lot, almost every day. Look at how vigorously it grows. They can tolerate drought, but they sure like a lot of water. And that's the same with your bonsai. Water it frequently, you will never drown the tree because it's got plenty drainage hole in the bottom. To end this video, I would say it's really the best places to put it right outside of the kitchen window. So it gets the sunlight, gets the rain, and then also it's easy to reach to cut out a few sprigs for your cooking. So in summary today, what I did is I took a rosemary plant that I've been growing for a while and comb off the roots to make the most of roots in a design, and then put it in a pot. And I talk about the root cutting, root pruning scheme, and then fill it with soil and keep it moist, and it should be fine with the sun and the moisture. So I thank you very much for watching this video. Please click like if you think it's informative, and I really like your brownie points and the encouragement. Please click sign on to our website so that we will notify you of any further announcements. Thank you very much. See you next week.